If the closest you done been to the streets is watching Paid in Full or watching someone else be in the streets or gang banging and losing their life, but you never been off the porch yourself and been involved in any type of activities that's dealing in the streets, your opinion does not matter. To support this channel, tap the Amazon link in the description to do your daily online shopping. What up, though? This your boy DOC. Now, if you haven't had the opportunity, it's going to be a link in the description to go watch the Troy Ave interview on the Breakfast Club. But it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about and break down. But I'm not going to try to make this video super long. The very first thing I got to start off by saying, I really wonder, where was Charlamagne the God at? Majority of the times when they do their introduction, if someone is not there, they say, oh, DJ Envy is off in Bora Bora, or Angela Yee is on vacation. They didn't say that. I really wonder where Charlamagne the God is at. Because I feel like in this particular situation with giving him Donkey today or any other quotes that you may have said against Troy Ave, it would only be fair to be there to ask Troy Ave certain things directly to his face. Now, depending on the type of person you are, is how you gonna take this particular interview. To me, it's a lot of things that came out of this interview that should spark discussion. The conversation about the streets and the street mentality, which it goes back to a couple videos ago. I was talking about the definition of real, and a lot of people agreed with me and said that, you know, real is subjective to that particular person's experience and how they view this world. And we do have to keep in mind different people's experiences alter people's perception on what real is. To me, even if this wasn't Troy Ave, if this was just John Doe down the street that was going through this particular situations, from the information that I know, I don't know the facts. I don't know everything. All I know is particular documents I've seen. I've seen the different things Troy Ave have said. I've seen different things that different individuals have said. Even if this was John Doe down the street, it's a very awkward situation to be in. Troy Ave is not only fighting against the judicial system, he's fighting against social media. And unfortunately, social media, like with the police, 80 to 90% of the cases, conviction rates they get nowadays are from social media. Now, yes, I will say, ever since this situation happened at Irving Plaza, I was one of the first, if not the first one, to not run with the narrative that the media was putting out. Now, when I say the media, I'm talking about the news station. I'm not talking about any other bloggers. I'm talking about the clips that were sent to me from the news station when they first put it out that was saying basically Troy Ave did all this stuff to himself. I could read through it before anything else was said. It did not make any sense. It didn't make any sense at all. But now we're to this point right now where the song Too Legit to Quit comes out, and a lot of people are saying that, you know, Troy Ave is snitching. One, if you haven't did something yet, how are you snitching? So, okay, so that goes to the point of saying, okay, he's implying that he will go on the stand. So that sparks another discussion on, like Troy Ave said, or the discussion at the Breakfast Club is, what would you do in this particular situation? There's a lot of different hypotheticals we can put. If you standing inside of a bank, say for instance, even if you are a gangster rapper, you John Gotti, it don't matter, and you standing inside of a bank, someone comes in and rob that bank. Somehow you get the gun and you do whatever in self-defense. But then the story, the media, the blogs, and everybody say that you did it to yourself. You killed the lady behind you, or the person that came with you, shot yourself to try to play it off and all this stuff. What would you do? Do you not have the right as a man to stand up and say, no, this is not what happened? Or do you suppose to sit there and take 20, 30, 40 years in jail because you're worried about what other people think? And that's the problem in society. We too worried about what other people think to our own detriment, where we will go sit in jail for 50 years. Now, me growing up in Detroit, I'm talking about, I used to shout out to my homeboy Mo. This is well over 7 years ago. We was in our teenage years. Used to boost cars and go off the Joy Road to go sell them or whatever, you know, even do your hustling stages, whatever people used to do back in the day. Now, if we get caught doing that crime and I tell on the person that I'm doing it with to get off of my case, yes, that's snitching. Another scenario, if my plug sending me a pack in the mail and it get caught, but the police let the pack come all the way through because they want to see who gonna catch it, and then I get arrested and then I tell on my plug, yes, that's snitching. Now, someone may say, okay, so what? Okay, say for instance, now if you selling drugs out of your house and someone kick in your door and rob you and shoot you, what are you supposed to do in that particular situation? But what makes that situation different is if someone kick in your door to rob you and then you fight and get the gun and you end up shooting that person, but the whole story gets twisted around as if you're the aggressor and the person that's actually kicking in your door is going to get off and you're going to get totally in trouble for everything. Does it matter that I was selling dope? Or does it matter that I was protecting my home? That's a question I'm asking you guys. That's why I said this is a very odd situation for Troy Ave to even be in. If what he's saying is the truth, that's all I can say. Because I don't want to point the fingers at nobody. I don't want to be on nobody's side. I know what I see by the public. I know what I see in the comments. I hear people say that such and such on the other side of the fence was hating on Troy the whole time. He was taunting them the whole time. It was a lot of aggression. Then these two individuals end up, you know, when it was back and forth, my thing is, now since someone has lost their life, what can we all learn from this situation? Let's go back to almost the very beginning. This situation could have been alleviated because you had some key players that was in between both these individuals that could have possibly got them to sit down and hash this out. A lot of times, people get so caught up in the moment of ratings and fake friendships and fake alliances. People let things go on and go on and go on until it's blown out of proportion. Now everybody acting like, oh, I don't know what happened. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Some people that wasn't even at that club that night play a big part in this particular situation. See, it's certain things about what Troy Ave is saying in this particular interview. I feel like it's a limited amount of people that's really going to understand where he coming from. Throughout this whole roller coaster with Troy Ave and this whole case ever since the Irving Plaza, not every video I've been on his side. I haven't been. There's certain things that he have done. There's certain things when he put out certain things in music, I'll speak against it. I'm glad they asked him the question, do you run your music across your attorneys before putting them out? Because that's something I said as well. Because the quickest thing people got to say, they listen to the first 2 minutes of a video and they feel like you being biased. Everything that Troy Ave have done, I haven't agreed with. I didn't agree with when he talked about capital Steez. Me personally, I don't agree with talking about the case inside of his music, but then from another point of view, as understanding, I understand people say they talking about real shit, they talking about their life, they have the right to do that. My thing is, as long as it's not in a way where it's actually incriminating somebody else. Now, when I say it's limited amount of people that may understand where you're coming from, it depends on your experiences in life. You can't be the type of person where the closest you ever been through the streets is watching someone else play in the streets or actually be out there gang banging or actually out there getting shot or shooting at people, and then you want to have an opinion on some street stuff. You can't do that. You can't be the person that never been off the porch, but you want to have an opinion on some street situations. You have to have actually been out in the field yourself if you even want to have an opinion about these particular situations. It's one key thing that he was talking about when he said he was sitting in jail, and it changed his perspective because it made him reevaluate the people that was around him. Say for instance myself, hypothetically, if you ever was in a situation where it's you and 6, 7 of your homeboys getting hella money, y'all doing your thing, making money together. Shit get rocky, people start catching cases, this and that. Now, it ain't nothing, no snitching or whatever going on with that situation, but people start coming home or whatever, and then say someone out of them 6, 7 people, y'all close, y'all supposed to be homeboys, y'all partying, y'all kicking it, y'all going messing with the females together, y'all making dough together, y'all got y'all situation straight. Then one of the homies out of them 6 or 7 people end up getting killed. By the street rules, you would think out of the remaining 5 or 6 people that's left, that y'all gonna come together like, hey, let's find out what happened to our homeboy so we could ride on the people that killed our partner. But then you end up seeing after your partner get killed that none of the other people thinking like that. You the only one in that situation that's thinking like this because you really from that life. You really are embedded that way. That's how you was raised. That's how you was taught. That if your partner get killed, you supposed to go ride for your homeboy. But the other 4 or 5 or whatever individuals, they not thinking like that. They just moving on. It make you start looking at this quote unquote street shit different. Because you see it ain't no loyalty there in the streets. It ain't. It's all for personal benefit. People are around just because you're winning. And when you losing or something go wrong, people go their opposite way. It ain't no loyalty no more. The whole rules of the streets have totally changed. So whoever created this Bible for the streets, this quote unquote Bible for the streets, whoever did this needs to create a new King James for nowadays and set some new rules, because shit is totally different. People don't believe in the same thing. So when you go through certain experiences where you start where life puts you in a position where you gotta reevaluate not only yourself, the people around you, it's gonna make you start looking out for yourself. It's gonna make you either leave that game, or it's gonna make you roll solo dolo, or it's gonna make you reevaluate everything that you got going on. So I totally understand what Troy Ave is saying, because it's relatable situations that he have been through, that I have been through, or I've seen other people go through, that make you look at this street shit different. I've been heard back in the 90s, you shouldn't go nowhere if you gotta take a gun. Just don't go. because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you got to kill someone and go to jail. And if you feel like you got to go somewhere with a gun, then more than likely that means your life is in danger. You don't even need to put them 50-50 chances on yourself to put your, where you gonna get killed or have to kill someone and go to jail. See, people, you got to watch the information that you getting it from. If it's a person that's a teenager right now that's all hype running around with his 40 and his 30 and all this stuff, you got to reevaluate the information that you're getting from people. Because if people really care from you, they're not going to try to push you into the street life. If they see that you got a talent, they're going to push you in that talent. They're not going to try to suck you into the street life. Yeah, a lot of things that was done back in the days I was involved in, kids in situations, say for instance, if you got certain organized crimes and they were utilizing kids because they knew the laws and they knew these kids would get less time than the adults in the situation. Not saying that is right or wrong, but that's just the things that come along with the game. But the end result is, yes, that you end up destroying your community. I'm not going to knock people that really come from a circumstance where they don't have any other choice but to hustle. And I'm not trying to get off the point, but like I say, this type of conversation about this Troy Ave situation, it got so many different branches that can go off in so many different directions when we get to talking about the streets. So I don't want to just get totally off the subject about it, but the Troy Ave situation is sticky. Like I said, he's not just facing just the courts. For whatever reasons, we have had certain media outlets that's been trying to dog Troy Ave since the very beginning. For whatever their agenda is, maybe we're starting to see why these certain media outlets were pushing a certain agenda, because they're trying to put other rappers in the game that's pushing a whole nother agenda. Who knows? But one thing I will say, dealing with the New York Police Department, everything, some justice, someone gonna get locked up. If it's not both, someone's gonna get locked up. Someone is definitely gonna get locked up in this particular situation, and we can't forget that an individual did lose their life. So I gotta say rest in peace to Banger. Troy Ave did basically admit to his faults in a way by going that far with the capital Steez line. And from the outside looking in, I appreciate the fact of him not really going too deep about the situation about Banger's mom and the brother situation. He said some limited stuff, but didn't go too far because he said out of respect. My thing that is showing growth. This situation, I can tell, because before, when all that situation popped off and I was listening to Troy music and listening to his interviews and some of the stuff, in my mind, and honestly, I was like, okay, this situation still haven't caught up to him yet mentally. But now I'm seeing over time by this interview that it is catching up to him mentally and making him evolve and grow. I guess the biggest question is, if he do take the stand, is that going to quote unquote kill his rap career or not? It all depends. I feel like the people that's not really fans of him or casual fans that have a reason to not deal with him, but I feel like people that truly support him, they still gonna support his movement because they possibly know the actual details to this case. They haven't been going by what the bloggers say. They haven't been going by what the news say. They probably have paid to get the transcripts and the files and everything to read what's out there and connecting the dots themselves of what makes sense. But for the people that have been asking why I hadn't uploaded in the past couple days, because the song came out and I didn't speak on it because, like I said, I was trying to get an interview with him, because I prefer to ask him the questions to get his perspective on it, because when you dealing with something this real, I don't necessarily want to speak on it without at least hearing both sides of the story. I don't want to hear the song but not hear what he really meant or what his thought process was going into it. Was his real thought process going into it was to create a debate? Was that his sole intentions when he was typing them words or writing those words, to create a debate or to get people to think about what would you do in this particular situation? Or is he getting people ready for him to go on the stand? And one of the things that he said was, not in this interview just, and I'm not saying it verbatim, but basically it's no snitching in self-defense. And that's up to the individual that's reading that if they agree with that or not. You shouldn't have to lose being a father growing up, taking care of your kids because you end up being in a bad situation. Now, everybody played a part in this. Everybody got to be accountable for what they did. No one is just 100% victim. People have thrown fuel on this fire from all sides of the fence. Everybody has to be accountable in these situations, but that means everybody have to grow from these situations to not try to duplicate these situations again when it's dealing with other artists. But I want to get y'all opinion on this. Make sure you drop a comment and holler at your boy, this DOC. Peace.